Welcome. Today we're going to learn integration by substitution. Sometimes our integral is not in the power rule form, as it is in this example. It's clearly not in the form x to the n. It's rather complicated, so what do we do? How do we integrate? Okay, so in item 1 we have our integral again, and our goal is to simplify the look of this integral. I like to call this u substitution because I really want to replace everything in terms of u and du. And if you go to item 5, that's exactly what we're going to do, and it's going to look like this when we're all said and done. Instead of what we have in 1, we're going to have what we have in 5, the integral of u squared du. Question is, how do we move from 1 to 5? So this is what we're going to do. Just like in chain rule, I like to tell my students to identify what u is and make a substitution. So in this case, I like to use what's in the parentheses. So 3x squared plus 2 is a good choice for u. And if you go to item 2, that's what we've selected. So u is 3x squared plus 2. And just as in chain rule, we want to take the derivative of that. So in item 3, u prime is equal to 6x. Now, if you notice, I've written u prime as du dx. They're one and the same. The reason I write it this way is because when we do integration with substitution, we need to substitute the dx as well. Many students forget to substitute for the dx. So it makes more sense to use du dx than it does to use u prime because I need a dx. So when you're using chain rule with substitution, use u prime. When you're doing integration with substitution, use du dx. Okay, in item 4, we are going to rearrange what we had in item 3 and solve for du. So du in this case is equal to 6x dx. Now let's go back to our problem and let's do the substitution. Okay, so first things first. In item 1, 3x squared plus 2 is our u, and if you notice, that's squared, so that becomes u squared. So in item 5, we start out with the integral of u squared. Then going back to 1, we were still left with 6x and dx. And we know what 6x dx is because in item 4, we've already solved for that. 6x dx is equal to du. So we have to replace those. So in item 5, we now have the integral of u squared du. Never have it as u squared dx. It always has to have the same variable, so we want du. And now we've done our substitution, but we still haven't integrated. Okay, here in item 1, we have our original integral. Item 2, we made the substitution. In item 3, we're now going to integrate. So u squared becomes u cubed over 3 using power rule plus c. And then in item 4, we must replace our u back in terms of x. And we know what u is because in item 5, you'll see u is 3x squared plus 2. So just replace that back, and then we are done. And that's how you do integration by substitution. Now go practice, practice, and practice some more.